This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to part 3 and the final episode of the top 5 or best Adidas basketball sneakers of 2019. Now, we did already have part 1, which was going over traction, and kind of a quick synopsis. Essentially, all of them are going to be good to very good, with the two standouts being the Dame 5 and the TMac Millennium. They're also going to be good for outdoor. Part 2 went over the cushion, and honestly, if you're looking for different cushion setups, this is the set you want to buy from. A lot of these are going to be on sale right now, so keep your ear to the ground. Hess Kicks always has some really good deals, and if you go on Twitter, Sneaker Steals always has some really good shout outs. So pay attention, because going forward in 2019-2020 basketball season, a lot of the Adidas basketball line is going to be switching over to the light strike cushion, which you can see my review on that if you look at the next level. Now, that's not necessarily bad, but if you are looking to get maybe 2 of the 5 shoes so you have a different option depending on your training, next year is really going to be kind of one-dimensional, with that light strike going to be on the next level 2, Harden Volume 4, and your Dame 6. So there's not going to be as much of a options for what you're looking for. Today we're going over the support and the fit. So both of these are going to be able to round out as far as getting what is the best 3-stripe basketball shoe for you. With all that being said, let's get right into it. All right, up to the support, and honestly a lot of these are going to be very similar, with the only 2 outliers are your TMac and your Marquee Boost. So let's go over the other 3. You have the most supportive shoe being your Dame 5. Looking at the lateral and medial support pieces they have between this coming up on the medial side and the lateral side with that kind of plastic shank, on top of that, on the internal, you have a bunch of pillows all laced throughout where it's touching your foot, so there's no lace pressure. You're able to torque these down as much as you want. The mid top with that kind of knit on top of that really fake synthetic material. Won't get into materials anymore, but the fit and lockdown of this is easily the most of the bunch. A similar competitor to this is going to be your Adidas Next Level. This guy actually just feels a lot lighter, but it has that similar lateral support piece where you really feel contained. It pushes down a lot on my foot. Now we'll get to fitment in a second, but this is a shoe I really can only wear about an hour at a time, and it doesn't matter if I'm playing or just casually. It really pushes you back into the heel cup of the shoe, but this has probably the largest heel cup of the bunch, maybe second or still more than the Harden 3, and the support on this is actually shockingly good. But because you don't lace it, and because there's no visual evidence of it, it just looks like a sock, it does take a little more degree of trust, but this has a lot of support. And then finally, your Harden Volume 3. Now, when I talk about support, and hopefully you guys get this, it's not only the fact that all of these have a flat, wide base, so you feel very stable, but it talks about you're locked in into the heel where it's supporting your foot and its movements where you can stay on the footbed. It's also talking about your lateral support for defensive or any quick movements, as well as your vertical movements going forward and back, where you feel like your toe is staying in the shoe and it's pushing you back in. So as far as support in this shoe, this strap here that doesn't seem like much actually does a really good job where you feel like your toe is contained. This heel cup, and you can see how it goes so high up, is actually really firm all back here, and the way it locks you down is just incredible. So we'll get to the materials a little bit on this shoe alone. This uses a circular knit, so not prime knit, but that circular knit is a little bit stronger. It forms really nicely, and it's just a shoe that you get a lot of support and just a very minimal package. So I really like this shoe, and again, I prefer it over the Dame 5, but I can see why a lot of folks still like the Dame 5, and that's purely the fit. So we'll get the fit in just one more moment. Let's talk about the TMac. All right, the support and fit in the TMac, and we'll flow right into the other and talk about the fit in the other shoes. And this is the segment that's really going to define who can wear this shoe on all levels and who's going to enjoy it the most. This is probably the most wide foot friendly shoe in the market. You can just tell by the midfoot shank how wide this goes, the toe box how wide this is. This is an incredibly wide shoe. I was able to go with my true size 12, and it still felt big. I probably could have gone down half a size. So for most people, I would say going down a full size would probably still be fine. So this is a shoe that The support is decent. You have that toe box similar to what you had on the Harden Volume 3, or Harden Volume 1. So you do feel some support there. You can see how the outsole rises up here, so you do have some lateral containment, but ultimately because it's such a squishy and soft ride, it's not something you're playing that fast in. Now it is using kind of a synthetic leather and just a traditional lacing system here, as well as kind of a double soft heel cup here in the back with just a really tiny heel cup down here. So the support on this is going to be on the okay side. I wouldn't say it's minimal, but it's not great either. But at the same time, if you're playing with this shoe, you're not looking for the most support anyway. You're probably not going to be crossing guys over to begin with. That being said, the fit on this, I would definitely go down a size. And if you have a wide foot, whether it's mid or the toe box, this is probably one of the best shoes out there. So finishing off support is going to be the Marquee Boost, and this is last because this is last place. This probably has the least support out of all the Adidas shoes they make. Now, does that make it bad? No, but I would also say, and again, we're going to go into fit in all these, this probably has, to me, some of the best fitting shoe that Adidas offers. So, and that has to do with, one, it's also using a knit, and I think this is kind of a circular knit, but it's using just a multiple different versions of materials all throughout the shoe. It does come in a high and a low, so depending what preference you have, you're going to be able to enjoy that. The lockdown that you get from the shoe, the laces have kind of a bungee effect on them, a little bit elastic, and the tongue is super plush. So you're able to torque this down as much as you want with no lace pressure, really pulling you back into the heel, and that kind of starts there. This uses a very tiny heel cup as well, so you don't feel super secure. This uses kind of a little lip here on the side for the lateral containment, which is, it's okay. The knit and everything is really soft, so you end up getting something that on the surface, this is my favorite cushion, and this is my favorite fitting shoe, and I still wouldn't give it elite levels of support. But if you are just playing basketball, I've had quite a few people say, hey, well, I'm going to start playing basketball this year. You know, last time I played twice all year. This is an awesome shoe to start playing, especially if you're going to be playing full court. This is going to be able to support you running up and down the court. You're not going to have any pain in your knees and your back the next day. And if you're just starting to play, your handles probably aren't up to snuff either. So having that lateral support doesn't really make that much of a difference. And the fact that you just get a comfortable fit on this for almost anybody, it is amazing. Now, as far as being a wide footer, I have a wide midfoot. This fits phenomenal. This is another shoe I was able to go with my true size 12, just like it did in the TMac. Right here, and you guys can take a look, I can possibly say if you have a wide toe box, you may want to consider going up half a size. But you can see how it flares out here. I felt more than comfortable enough, but if you have a wide toe box, consider going up that half size. For all of these shoes, I'm either a 12 or a 13. And if you notice, I'm not a 12 and a half in Adidas because the only way to get it is from Adidas.com. So if you're getting this in store, or we have an Adidas flagship store in Chicago, you're really forced to go with 12 or 13. So let's finish the fit on the rest of these and see what works best for you. So third fit is going to be your Harden Volume 3, and this is the third shoe I have that is a size 12. Again, if you have a wide midfoot, you're going to be just fine going true to size with this. Because of this strap, if you have a wide toe box, you probably are going to have to go up half a size. And even if you have a super wide midfoot, I can also see going up. Now, a 12 and a half probably would have fit me maybe a little better, but the way this knit really gives and molds to my foot, I do enjoy that. Even though it's a tight fit, I feel really secure in this shoe. So this, if you have a high instep, that's another issue. I was just talking to a guy on Instagram. He was DMing me, and he has a very high instep. A shoe like this allows him to really not have to worry about how thick his ankle is, how high his instep is in this area, because you have a more traditional tongue versus something like the next level. So if you have a wide midfoot and or a high instep, I think you're still gonna be able to really enjoy the Harden Volume 3. But if you do have a wide toe box, you may have to go up half a size. Otherwise, go true to size on this. And this is a big difference from the Volume 2, whereas the Volume 2 was really restrictive. I had to do a size 13, and it was restrictive in the area putting it on the shoe, where just putting your foot in if you had a high instep. It was thin and narrow in the midfoot, and it was narrow in the toe box. So the Volume 2 was much more catered to a narrow foot. So if you have a narrow foot or a more normal foot, let's get into the last two options. So probably the biggest fan favorite here is going to be your Dame 5. And this is another one. where I think most people will enjoy it. But if you are in that small percentage like me that has a wide midfoot, I guess it doesn't take much, knowledge or experience to say that, hey, this might not work for you. The way this shank is and the way this medial side comes up, it probably wasn't until more recently, 20 plus hours of play, where I've been able to enjoy this a little bit more. So as you can imagine, I haven't had the best experience since I had to play probably over 12 hours before the traction started to feel good, and now over 20 hours before I really start to feel comfortable with the fit. But even though it really just bows out, I feel like my foot looks really weird in it. That being said, if you have a wide toe box, you're going to be just fine in the shoe. If you have a high instep, you're going to be just fine with the normal tongue. But on top of all that, it actually does run a little bit long. So I would actually recommend, if you have a normal foot or narrow foot, going down half a size. I would have loved to do my size 12 in this, and I tried it on in store, and the toes actually felt just fine, but it just was super narrow for me. So this is not a wide foot friendly option necessarily, but if you have a wide toe box, it's something you may want to check out, and you probably still have to go up that half a size just for my wide footers out there. Normal narrow feet, you probably can go true to size or even down half a size, because there is a lot of space in here. Overall, the materials, whether you get one with the mesh or this is completely all felt, which I didn't really like, even though this is a beautiful looking colorway. Even the Black Panther is using just little rubber things on top of the mesh and uses kind of a trace things on top of the felt. So the materials are all the same no matter what colorway you get. Obviously certain colorways like this look better, but all in all the materials are very cheap, but they do mold pretty quickly to your foot. So it ends up, I think for most people, you're gonna have a very comfortable fitting shoe, just not for your mid-wide footers like myself. Finally, the fit on the next level is probably the most unique or weird one out of the bunch, since there's nothing to do. There's nothing to tie. There's literally putting it on and just hope it fits you. That being said, this is going to fit very similar to your Dame 5. So if you like the Dame 5, you're going to be able to get a nice fit on this. Equally, this runs a little bit long, but I think you want that extra length, just because if you get it too small, you're also shrinking the hole to get it in. And if you notice, there's not much stretch here. This is really firm. It is difficult to get on at first, but it does start to give a little bit better. There's a lot of Lycra spandex kind of pushing you down right at the midfoot, and the toe in the midfoot area, because of the shank here, it really puts a lot of pressure right here. Another one that I wish fit me better, but you can kind of see how it flares out here with the toe box. If you have a wide toe box, I think you're going to be okay. And I would go true to size, even if you feel it's a little bit long, just because it's going to get easier to get on and it does put a lot of pressure on you. But if you have a high instep in any way, whether it's minimal like myself or a lot, this shoe is going to cause some issues. And if you have a wide midfoot, you're not going to be able to enjoy this shoe at all. But your narrow footers, your normal footers, you're going to be able to enjoy this shoe and be surprised by how much support it offers, how light it is, how good the traction is, especially in this gum rubber bottom, where it's just a fast playing shoe that I think a lot of people will enjoy. But just for my style of play, for my size, and for my foot, this was probably the least favorite of the bunch for me. That wraps up our series on Adidas basketball shoes for 2019. Now, as I said, a lot of these are on sales from 50, 60, 70 bucks. You can get some really good shoes at really discounted prices. Now, if you watched all three, hopefully you're not going to be messaging me as far as which basketball shoe from Adidas is best for you, because I kind of broke it down. But that being said, if you want to direct message me on Instagram or shoot a comments below, I'm always happy to help any athlete out there find the best gear for you. Now, the other question is, if you want to compare these to anything from Nike or Jordan, again, I'm more than happy to help. Shoot it a comment below and I'm happy to respond. As always, this is Levi with Sneaker Gears. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you later.